Hello, good evening. This is Brother Benson Media, and today's Saturday. We are blessed to have this evening to just continue with the conversation political conversation of what has been happening over the week. Before we continue, allow me to invite all our guests and to let you know that you can feel at home. This is Brother Benson Media. And here you say that your opinion counts. I'll take this opportunity to invite Mr. Meguda to say hi before we proceed.
Hi everyone. Hi moderator. I would also like to welcome each and everyone to Bro Benson Media. Here we say that your opinion counts and you are at liberty to join and also discuss your opinion, irrespective of who you are, wherever you are, because we are providing an international platform for everybody. And also we wish that for the people who are watching us for the first time or tuning for the first time, you can kindly subscribe to the channel by supporting it, and also you can like, you can share the video, and it could be very good for the channel. Back to you, Makubura.
Okay, fine. Thank you. I just want us to have a look at the president's tour to the Mount Kenya region. If you can remember, the president has not gone to the Mount Kenya for almost 6 months since the impeachment of his deputy president, Rigathi Gachagua. And there was so many expectation, political expectation, development expectation, and it's a conversation that people had in the entire country. Again, people are also trying to view the political change that has happened in the Mount Kenya region since the impeachment of Rigathi and his, there's a group of members of parliament or leaders who supports him or who are his allies, and they're trying to make the mountain quite uncomfortable for the president. So my question to you is, we will not actually go for long today. I just want us to, I'll give you a chance to just try give us a summary of what you saw in the Mount Kenya region. And then after that, I'll ask you some few questions on regards to the development tour that the president had across the counties of the Mount Kenya region. There are some counties that he went, he was fully welcomed. His allies spoke to the people. There are some counties he went, his allies were echoed, and he finished the tour today. It was a 5-day tour. What is your take on the entire 5 days that the president had in the Mount Kenya region?
Mount Kenya tour, it has been of a mixed reaction. And remember, there are people who have been anticipating many things to happen, but actually, they haven't been happening the way people expect them to be. I could have said that initially the president had to buy time before going to Mount Kenya, because you understand, by the time ex-deputy was impeached, the people were still hailing, and then going immediately was like the wound was not healed. You could not go direct immediately after the impeachment, because it could be like you are adding more pain to the people after what the pro-Rigiji are concerned in the region. Remember, Rigiji also had a fan base. The fact that they were voted on a joint ticket doesn't mean it is only Mr. President who has a fan base in Mount Kenya. Those people voted for William Ruto because of Rigiji. Those people also like Rigiji. So he has no alternative to go immediately. He had to wait and also buy time so that he can get a convenient room to move to Mount Kenya at the same time to articulate whatever he was articulating. The reason why I'm saying that is because you understand that the people who attended the rally, other than low turnout from the public, you also counted that there are people who were mobilized to come to the rally. Some women were paid and they were even uniformed. Some bodas were also in uniformed in the so-called reflectors, and they also paid to move to the rally. At one point, it was heckled by some people, a small section, and also you understand the massive entourage from the security sector, the DCIO, the NIS, the military, army, all the police and security sectors, even the external security officers, accompanied Mr. President to the Mount Kenya region. It was like a crisis when he was going there alone. I believe that it has demonstrated to the people that I would like to first applaud the people who gave Mr. President warm reception, because that is maturity in politics. Because even if we disagree with you politically, but I can give you that room for you to speak, the tolerance. I need to tolerate you to speak your mind, but I don't need to agree with your mind. That one I want to give the people of Mount Kenya applause. At the same time, also, we have to agree that there were some things that were not done right, like the launching of certain projects. There were some projects which were supposed to be launched by the area MPs or governors, but they were compelled to be launched by Mr. President. So I believe that that is not the right thing to do. But always, as a propagandist, you also have to measure the propagandist in your list for you to perceive the public in general that Mr. President is the darling of Mount Kenya. But from my own analysis, even though he will get some votes from Mount Kenya, but majority of the votes have gone away from him. It is not business as usual the way it used to be. In my view, it was business unusual, because the crowd has to mobilize. People have to be sent in prayer in 2 weeks' time. Intelligence had to accompany Mr. President. Remember, during the time he was the deputy president, he was not privy to the security through the NIS. But that time, they had different security, Uhuru Kenyatta, and the briefings were also withdrawn from the office of the deputy president. And he used to make massive crowds in Mount Kenya, minus all the security sectors. But in the entourage of the security sector, you saw how the crowd was low in terms of turning out. That's why I say believe that there is still much you need to do as a politician. You need to do some correction here and there if at all you want the Mount Kenya votes. But I'm certain sure that it is not going to be overwhelmed the way it was overwhelmed the previous election. That what I can say without any fear of any contradiction, because I also had some people on the ground I was calling them. And also, actually, crowds do not reflect the actual voters, what to will vote the crowd. And if it was development over, it is good because Mount Kenya is part of the country. Mount Kenya is not in Sudan or Somalia, it is in Kenya. And the president is the president of the Republic of Kenya, including the Mount Kenya people. That is the person we are all paying allegiance to. So if he saw it, it was wise for him to move the administration towards Mount Kenya for the development project, then it was a good thing, because it is part and part of the country. They deserve development to us. Also, they deserve to have one-on-one interaction with the president. In the entire visit of Mount Kenya, I can conclude by saying that we have not had many casualties, because at least the crowd has tried to behave well, and also the president was also behaving well. But there are things that we have to point out, that he went there to explain to the people why he had to impeach his ex-deputy. He went there to explain to the people why he had to fire JB Muturi. But we have heard also there are some response from JB Muturi and also Rigiji. It means that now it's a clear indication that there's a rift between president and the Rigiji and the Rigiji allies. So it's a clear contest that die is cast, and anyone can contest. They can contest to the people. And we have, like in the Mount Kenya, we have the pro-president and pro-Rigiji. So it's out for the people to decide who they want to vote for. But the people also should also understand that under some circumstances, there are some things that were revealed in that tour. The president tried to reveal other things concerning the colleagues previously. And the colleagues also reveal other things or deals they did previously with the president. As the people, we should focus on those revelations and ask ourselves that, are these the kind of leaders we want in the country? If we elect them to act on our behalf, but they are doing their own deals, they are majorly concerned on how they are going to get much money in the government. So that when you give an opportunity to vote, you vote wisely. I think that's now our focus should be after all this visit, and there was revelation. If there was revelation, therefore, what do we do as a people? Let us dwell on the revelation from the president and the revelation from the Rigiji, JB, and now we can put our leaders into accountable based on those revelations, because they intend that both of them spoke their mind and they spoke facts. Let us delved into those revelations. Back to you, Makobura.
Okay, thank you. You've spoken about Justin Muturi's comments. We'll get into that. Still, let's focus on the Mount Kenya region. Just like you've mentioned, there were a series of rallies that the president had, and he would launch either roads, markets, building, construction of buildings. And the people of Kenya are asking themselves, is it really the role of the government leader, that is the president, to be moving around counties, constituencies, to launch things to do with markets, roads, construction, buildings? And if so, what is the difference? How much do the government spend to travel to these places and to just bring that huge gathering, which you are being told some of them are paid? How much could they have saved moving to these areas to launch, show, do we call them shops or what, markets? Is it really making sense for the president to do such kind of, launch, such kind of launchings? We've seen members of parliament from different constituencies. The other day, Ndindi Nyoro was trending because he has built he had made quite a number of launching, and more of the things that he launched were built to their conclusion. And the people of Kenya are asking that why is the president moving around to go launch things that can be launched by members of parliament, MCAs, governors, and then after 5 years, the same way they were launched, there's nothing that would have, that would be going on in those launched projects. Is that the only strategy for the political class to get to understand or to get to the people? You'll give us your opinion on that. And then something else that I also noticed in this tour is we saw some members of parliament who were supporting the ex-deputy president coming out and saying that they'll recognize the presence of the president and his political stand, and that they'll support him. At the same time, the leader of majority and some members of parliament were also seriously echoed. What does that tell us in terms of politics? Is it a gain for the president or a gain to the ex-deputy president? If you have a look at the main reason why the president wanted to have this tour in the Mount Kenya region. Remember, the deputy president had warned the president that, the mountain region is currently under his command and that he'll no longer get the kind of reception he used to get. What is your general analysis on, the political benefits that the president got in the Mount Kenya region, and how possible is that going to reflect to the coming general election. Maybe something else that you can give us your take on is the president trying to convince the people of Mount Kenya region and telling them that if he performs well, the people would decide if whether to elect him or not. If he fails, then he's ready to go home and continue with his own activities. What is your what is your take on all this?
First, so I would like to begin by saying that I still believe that, in my view, it was more of a political tour than what you say to be, what perceived by the public to be development tour, because it was a meet people tour after quite long time before seeing the people who once were his darling. And when he made such tours, there were some projects that were under NGCDF, which were left for him to launch. At the same time, there were also other projects which were at the same time under county government, and there were some projects which were under some organization, which were also left for him to launch. The reason why I still believe that it was more of a political tour, we saw some MPs launching their own NGCDF projects in their county, minus involving Mr. President. And whenever Mr. President is involved, in my view, I don't, because even whenever he was speaking to the people, it was not focused on the project development. It was focusing on the issue of ex-deputy impeachment, and also his issue of 2027, because he told the people that wenye kusahisha ni wananchi, na wananchi watasahisha mwaka wa 2027, na wananchi watasema kama umefanya kazi watakuongeza hatamu ya utawala, na kama utakuwa haujafanya kazi watakung'oa mamlakani, na wananchi watakung'oa kupitia debe. In my view, I believe that he was just speaking the politics of 2027, that the people should reconsider him for re-election because he has been launching the projects in Mount Kenya region, which is not the case. At the same time, he was appealing to the people that he chased away those people who are bringing controversy in the government. That's why also he need to be elected. I believe that he ought to have told the people that we are going to politics in Mount Kenya. We are like in a political mood whereby we must reach people and explain to the people what we have done as the government, the scorecards, and what we project to do if we are re-elected. Because that's what he was saying. And the issue of, we are asked about the issue of people heckling, or maybe who is who in Mount Kenya. Still, Mount Kenya is undecided in who is the Mount Kenya kingpin. And we have had many names being propelled or coming out. And you understand what happened. We have vacuum. When Ouru left State House, Ouru has been perceived as the regional kingpin and served for 2 terms. When it was now impossible for him to rule in accordance with the constitution, we have to have a gap. And there are many leaders who saw that they are capable. They tried to come out. There were leaders who coming from Mount Kenya East, Mount Kenya West, but also there's also interest in that region, because the president also had an interest, because he's seen a gap in that region, and there's also a possibility of dividing them for you to get en route into those regions. If you have seen a gap, you capitalize on that gap, and that's what he has done. He tried to divide them when before Idrisi was pushed out of the cabinet, but it was next to impossible. But now he had to sacrifice Idrisi to bring in Kindiki for him to divide that region effectively to work for him in 2027. It's about numbers. He doesn't need to get the entire votes in Mount Kenya. He needs some votes that when he can add into the region, he can be re-elected according to him. Therefore, you capitalize on that gap whereby a leader is no longer, the region is no longer having one voice. The region is no longer speaking one voice. The region is divided. And this is why I believe the region is divided, because I've also seen there are some people who are pro Kindiki and some people who are pro Rigiji. These are two factions. Remember, during the time we were going to ballot 2007, the entire region was pro Kibaki. We never saw such divisions. When we were electing Ouru twice, the entire region was pro Uhuru. We never saw such divisions. Why is it that now we are going for the second time? Even where we were electing Ruto, even though there was some split in the region, but the people, the masses, were with William Ruto. Why is that when we are going for election right now, they have managed to divide them to an extent that there are a very good number of leaders who are pro Ruto and a very good number of leaders who are pro Rigiji. It means now that gap is being capitalized by politicians, but more so the person who is interested for re-election, William Ruto. And he has also gone to Nyanza and persuade Baba not to run so that he can capitalize on that effect. That when Baba is not running, therefore, I want to inherit Baba's base. That's how he's trying to play his politics. But we also appeal to the people that whenever he's making any move as a politician, he has to make any move. But the people also, we should make moves. And our moves are very clear. Let us stop distraction as the people. Let us stop division amongst ourselves. Let them divide at the apex of leadership. But at the grassroots, let us be united, because njaa ya Mkikuyu ndio njaa ya Mjaluo. Njaa ya Samburu ndio njaa ya Mkuria. Elimu inatu affect across the board. Bei ya mafuta inatu affect across the board. Ukienda kunyongwa kinyozi, ile bei nitanyolewa nayo kama niko Thika, ndio nitanyolewa nayo kama niko Nyeri. Therefore, as the people, let us not get into their traps. We should unite ourselves and we say no to the leadership, the entire leadership. Then after we are saying no, and also let us speak some lessons. Let us speak some lessons from William Ruto. Let us also speak some lessons from JB Muturi. But the JB Muturi lessons are more compared to Ruto. What we can pick from Ruto is that there are some leaders who are selfish, where they put their interests ahead of the community and they want to use the community to bargain. We are going to say no to such leaders. The lessons we have picked from JB Muturi is that there are those leaders who are there at the apex. They are taking advantage of their position to transact public management or public resources individually. What ought to belong to the public, they don't understand what belongs to themselves and what belongs to the public. What belongs to the public, they perceive that belong to the public also belong to them. The issues like Adani, Ketraco, Shashi, Shoshu, the issues of that Russian people wanted to do certain deal here in Kenya, those things belong to the public, and there should be public interest and public participation. But you cannot transact that deal alone as the president with the aid of the AG. Then when the AG declines your aid, then you are going to paint AG all sorts of incompetency, all sorts of those names. That one, we must agree as the people that these guys are all our enemies. Be it the person who was impeached, be it the person who is currently serving. The reason why is because when they were convenient, they were quiet. But when it is inconvenient, they are now loud, including even the president himself is a suspect. Therefore, as the people, let us stop all these shenanigans, all these shy shows of heckling, of divisive, of pro somebody, pro somebody. Let us unite against the leadership of this country, and let us allow one person to come out who has been projected organically by the people. Let us also not fight that it must be Kalonzo, it must be Matiang'i, it must be Rigiji, it must be a Gen Z, it must be a millennial, it must be Emeritus Chief Justice David Maraga. It can be anybody, even Nima Kubura. Then we decide that now we want to get over all of this system, transform this country once and for all. I think that's the only solution. But if we fall into the trap of these leaders, then I'm sorry that we are going back into circles where we are after the 2027 elections.
Okay, thank you. You've spoken about JB Muturi, and today, Honorable Junet and also Senator, the Nairobi Senator, they said that they would summon JB Muturi to Parliament to clarify or to give details on all the allegations that he made, so that if they're genuine, the relevant authorities should then take into it and investigate. On the comments or the accusations of JB Muturi, you remember there's a time that he had a presser and he gave reasons why he felt he was not happy in the government of William Samoei Ruto. One being that his son was abducted and there was no one who came out to give him the reasons. When he tried to follow up, according to him, he did not get any serious information from any person, and that really angered him. After that, he came up with some strategies where he gave ultimatums to the government and also to the president, to the cabinets, that he'd only attend the cabinet if the issue of abduction and extrajudicial killings would be discussed and that they would come up with a solution. After some few days, he was removed, and then the president talked about him, said that he was incompetent, that he did not understand some of the things. Just the other day, he came out to clarify or to give his side of story. What is your take on the side of the story of Justin JB Muturi based on all the allegations that he made? Some, and I would quote, he said that the president is irredeemable, is a corrupt person, and that is dangerous to lead. What is your take on such kind of comments?
First, let me begin with the issue of Junet Mohammed and Edwin Sifuna going and also requesting JB to appear before the parliamentary committee to table the accusations that they can be taken into consideration with the relevant authority. First, I want to argue that you understand right now there is a structure agreement between ODM and UDA that they're working together. If at all they're working together as the ODM and UDA going forward, projecting to 2027, 2032, it means that now the ODM people also must come out and set clear to the public that we, the ODM people, we are not part and parcel of this mess, because ODM must be known as a party for reforms, a party that is anti-corruption, a party that is pro-people party. Therefore, if you are executing with the president who is corrupt to that extent, that somebody is corrupt to the core, then if you follow what JB told the people, someone to that extent, ODM want to disassociate itself with such a person. Therefore, they have to come clear and make things clear to the people that with the ODM people, even though we are in this formation, we are going to take our responsibility within the parliament. That's relevant. Therefore, that is could be the clarion call from Junet Mohammed and Edwin Sifuna as the ODM party. It's just something that they have been doing for a long time. It's just push and pull. As the party, we have been doing this and this. As the party, we are pro people, we are anti-corruption party, we are a movement, we champion for democracy, we champion for change. Therefore, if you are shitting the UDA and this is the face of UDA because Muturi unmasked the president, it was also it told the people, it was transparent that this is the kind of person we are dealing with. Therefore, ODM must also come and tell the people that no. We as the ODM, we are not part and parcel of this person. Even if we are with him, we are trying to stabilize government or as the expert, though what we are trying to say to the people is that we are going to continue with our values as a party in this government. It's just a political game going on here. Purely political game. There's nothing much you are going to expect from ODM or from Sifuna or Junet in siasa na sarakasi zao. So what I can say is that JB told the public tomorrow, if at all these allegations are factual, it is good because he was transparent to the people. At the same time, he was bold enough and courageous to face on the head of state head on that, Mr. President, no, I was that cabinet, but the reason why we have difference is because one, two, three. Like the issue when we were to buy, you were told me to sign something which I ought to have signed publicly, not in private section, as we were doing the private business. These are public transactions that involve the members of the Republic of Kenya. Therefore, we need to do it in the eyes of the public. That is a good thing. Another thing, he also tried to explain to the people that he tried to ask the NIS, NIS, the DCIO, that the president to try to clarify why the son was abducted with the NIS. And there has been a story that is not understandable here because the DCIO role is to carry out investigation. After carrying out investigation, they have to table the investigative report with the DPP. Now it is the role of the DPP to move to court to prosecute. DCI does not prosecute. NIS does not prosecute. President does not prosecute. It is the DPP who prosecute. Therefore, it was very clear that there's no need of you pushing NIS or pushing DCIO to prosecute, and we have a relevant body enshrined the Constitution and decided two articles, Article 156, Article 157, which cited the roles of the DPP and DCIO respectively. At the same time, as the AG also, he has to understand that him as the AG, he must represent the public interest other than a legal advisor to the government. He also understand to represent the interest of the public in the court. Therefore, I still view that if at all the allegations were factual, therefore we challenge the relevant authority to move with swift to analyze whatever people say in the public. But if they are reluctant, now they have gone back to parliament, parliamentary committees. Which case has ever been effectively dealt with at the parliamentary committee? We have seen many governors appearing for parliamentary committees. We have seen many CS appearing for the committee. But the end game, have they been held into accountable? Has anyone brought into book? If the same circles that we are going to go as a country, then I don't buy that idea. That's why I still believe that it's purely politics when you are introduce the issue for DM here. But the issue of JB Muturi must be taken lawfully in accordance with the provision of the law. That one we can get to know the real story of the events.
Okay. Thank you, Mr. Miguda. There's something here that I just wanted to give a clarification on. JB has been a speaker before for 2 terms. Again, he was elected as the AG. And you understand the role of the AG in a government. After they were sent home, after the Gen Z's demonstration, he was brought back again as a cabinet secretary. Being the leader of parliament and also as an AG, what is your take on the comments, the accusations that JB Muturi is, taking before the doors of the president? Mr. Miguda, you can give us your take on that, because there's a group of people who are asking themselves that I was actually watching a political analyst, Professor, what is it called? Manyora, and he's saying that it is only the alligator. If the alligator comes out of water and then tells you that kwa maji hakuko sawa, things are not okay, then you should believe, because they stay together in the water, they interact, they see, that is their environment. Should this really worry us as a citizen, as the people of Kenya, who, according to what the Constitution has, we have the liberty. We need to know what is happening. We need to understand our leaders. We need to know and to fully get to understand what our government is doing on behalf of the people who elected them. What is your take? Is it the comments from JB? Is he saying this just because he's not happy, or is this the culture of the political class? Why is it that when they are still within, they are not very active on giving such kind of information? And if suppose the accusations are true, I'm quite sure you understood or you saw the kind of words that he used to describe the president. If at all those are true, are we then safe as a people to be led by William Samoei Ruto as the president? What is your take? Miguda, and then maybe before you come in, allow me to welcome Brother Benson at the here to the studio. I'll give him a chance to just say hi. Maybe you can go first, and then Miguda will pick up.
Okay, thank you so much. I'm in a place whereby I cannot use my camera, but I've been following up. I've been following the conversation, and actually, when you started about the tour by president in Mount Kenya, when you look at the tour, because it has been 1 week tour, there are so many things that to me I've picked from that tour. One, I would start with the benefit, especially from the benefit of the people who are mobilized to attend those rallies. They got a lot of money because you could see them from the social media. And also, it has also showed us the rate card per region. If you look at when the president went to Western Kenya and other areas, what the amount of money that were given from those, even those we saw from the social media, it seems that the one for Mount Kenya was the rate card for Mount Kenya is quite much high, both on the residents who are being mobilized to attend those rallies, and even to the MPs who are given the money to mobilize. So it that one also is something that was learned. Another thing that also I can pick from that is about the security issue, because most of the time when you have head of state visiting, the security of head of state is usually very tight. But if you are very keen enough, you would see a group of motorbike riders would escort the president, especially in the president entourage. And in some cases, you never know, because the people that need to be vetted. And at some point, also, president broke his security and was working with was in the crowd. So that is something that's also picked. The third thing that I also might say I picked is about the message, the heckling, especially of members of the parliament who are allied to Mr. President. And this one is sending message to president. And I would look it in two ways. One, the people never wanted to heckle the president, maybe because he gave the wheels, he oiled the wheels of the people who are doing the vuvuzela. You are delivering your services. So when you are employed or when you're contracted, you cannot disrespect the person that has contracted you. Yeah, that is one. Then secondly, it's also a clear message to president that if your foot soldiers, especially those who believe in these areas, are being heckled, it means you need to go back to the drawing board. So, which means the president will have to go back to the state house and start to draw, to go back to the drawing book and find, like, who are the people that now I need to work with, because the people who are supposed to be my ambassadors in these areas, they've been rejected, especially like Kimani Ichung'wah. He has been booed or heckled in around 95% of the rallies that president was attending. So that is a very signaling to the president and even to Kimani Ichung'wah himself. He should now know that things are not working for me, and he will becoming obsolete, especially in the president cycle. in the president's circle. So, and you know president very well. If you don't play a major role in his circle, what is the next thing that he will do? You will be told you are incompetent, you know. And what is the next thing? He will get somebody to replace you. So there are so many things that I really picked. And before Miguda comes in, you've spoken about Muturi, on everything that Muturi said. I don't think that it is something that is quite new, especially in our political landscape. These are some of the things that we've always been witnessing. I think he was just confirming to us the doubts that people have been having about everything that is happening in terms of corruption. Because remember, when the Adani deal issue came, people had already started pointing fingers at where this thing was emanating from. Everything that was happening, the sole responsibility was on the government. And now, by Muturi coming out now to talk about even corruption, because remember, first of all, he came about with abduction, whereby he said very well that he had the president talking to Nurdin Haji, and that one was a clear indication that the abduction from Muturi himself, that was on the government. Now coming again on the corruption and the dealings, and if you are even very keen on the interview of Muturi, whereby he said that when a CS, if you find that a CS is explaining or is trying to push a certain contract or a certain issue, then president will come and elaborate more. Know that there's something that is behind it. That is, I quote Muturi based on what he said. So it is not very new on what Muturi has said. This is something that people have always suspected that something of the sort, something of that manner is taking place now, is now just confirming. Now, is this just that people to today that Muturi has come on the side of the Wananchi, that Wananchi are talking about? Again, there's something that on the same Muturi, I saw Junet Mohammed talking about it. And one thing that now people should be very scared of, the scary part of it, it should not even be the president. The scary part, it should be the leaders that we've elected. It tells you like the leaders that we've elected, their allegiance not is not necessarily on the people or to deliver for the people. Their allegiance is to somewhere else, you know. So that's why on the issues or the matters that are affecting the common wananchi, they don't take it with a lot of seriousness, as we say. Because if you look right now, we do not have schools. Remember, the upgrading is coming. And if you see the projects that the president is launching, they're not bad projects, but where are our priorities? Look at even the budget that the president has used to tour Mount Kenya for 1 week vis-a-vis the projects that has been launched. Yeah, look at the helicopters that are there, everything and all the mobilization compared to the projects that president has launched. And who should put the accountability or on the president are the leaders that we've elected, and they're playing into it. So those are some of the things that to me I picked, but there's so many things that I can speak about the president tour of central Kenya, and uh, benefits that I would say that president has gotten from central Kenya. Thank you so much, Mr. Migud.
Okay, just to elaborate what I want to say that first, I won't want to use the words which were used by Jib Muturi to unmask Mr. President, or the way he called him, sort of all those sorts of names, because I have to agree that the politicians only get their sense once they are outside, but when they are inside, they lose their senses, and most of them suspend their brains whenever they are elected. And that's why we say that whenever they are outside, or when they are not re-elected, they get back to their sense. And that's exactly what Muturi is right now. Muturi is right in his senses. And that is why when he was asked that, Muturi, are you revealing all this information because you want to be the Embu governor? He said, no, I'm not interested in any leadership. If at all that is the case, that Muturi is not interested in leadership, be it the Embu governor or be it the presidential ticket or whatever, then I'm going to support him, because if at all they are true, because he has been selfless, someone who has been selfless, and he has also tried to unmask Mr. President at no cost. But we also have to ask Jane some questions here, that we have had presidents in the country before. William Ruto is not the first president. We have had Uhuru was there 10 years, and Jane was the speaker of Uhuru for those 10 years. even if doesn't mean that it is only corruption. Corruption has only begun with William Ruto. Doesn't mean that during Uru regime there was no corruption. And if at all there was some corruption, let him also reveal those happened at Uru times. And when Kibaki was the president also, if those people can know if there were people who are currently living who had some corruption issues during the reign of Mwai.
Are you there? Miguda? I think we've lost Miguda. He's not having a stable internet. Are you there? Yes. To our viewers, this is Brother Benson Media. And here you say that your opinion counts. So if you are new, kindly like and subscribe to the channel as we wait for Miguda to come back and just finish his remarks. Once again, I want to take this opportunity to say thank you for everyone who joined and commented or gave us the opinion in the comment section. We are very much grateful, and we are saying a big thank you for finding time to join us this evening. Allow me to acknowledge the presence of Gypsy Corner, the comment section, Judith Karitha, thank you so much. Can also see Batseba Ndwari, thank you so much, Batseba. And everyone. Yeah, so today we are just having a conversation on what happened to the Mount Kenya region tour that the president was having for the past five days, which just ended today. We were trying to just give our opinion on the goodies that he went with over there and the political gain or loss that he had. Again, we are trying to also have a conversation and to give our opinions on the comments of JB Muturi. JB Muturi has been a speaker in the last government. He has been an AG in this government. He has been a cabinet secretary. He was released or sent home by the president some days ago. And since then, he's been giving some revelations to the people of Kenya about the government and, some of the things that the citizens are not aware of. And the people are asking so many questions. Wengine wanajiuliza, these things true? Could it be true? Yeah, so those are some of the questions that we are having. We are trying to have a look at tonight. Thank you so much, Gypsy Corner, for that comment. I'm trying to wait for Megoda. I don't know whether he's coming back. Yeah, so maybe just apart from that, I can also have a look at what happened. The opposition leader, the way he calls himself, Kalonzo Musyoka, together with his team, they're saying that JB Muturi said the truth and that the best thing the president should do is to resign based on the allegations that were raised by the former insider, JB Muturi. And again, the questions that he was asking is, How are we then not supposed to believe the accusations? And yet, Muturi was inside and part and parcel of that government. And again, he started raising these questions while he was still in that government. So those are some of the questions, again, as a people, we need to ask ourselves, because if you watch the clip or the interview by JB Muturi, the way some deals are being signed, the way he was saying that he was told to sign at the airport, those are serious things that we need to look into. And it is a conversation that we are going to continue going forward. I think I'm not seeing my guest coming back. So we'll just proceed with this conversation tomorrow. We will need to understand what it means and what the Constitution says about cabinet secretaries signing for deals, whether their interest supersedes the interest of the people when it comes to signing or giving signals to these deals. That is the question that we are asking ourselves, and we'll come back to tomorrow. I can see Miguda here. Let me see. Hey, Miguda, can you hear me?
We are very clear.
Would you kindly just finish what you were saying, your presentation?
I was saying that when I was concluding, I was saying, therefore, if at all, if the unmask of the president is factual and can be proved beyond reasonable doubt, there are credible evidence, we are going to support JB, even if people are saying that why he was quiet when he was inside, but now he's loud when he is outside. We know that whenever anyone who's inside has suspended his brain, therefore JB was not exception. Just like all those guys have suspended their brain, he also tried to suspend his brain. And also we want JB to come clear that even the previous regime, there were some atrocities which were committed in the people of Kenya. All people should be brought into book. We had issues like Rivayala. We have issue of abduction, extrajudicial killings. We want to know, and it's very good now the public want to identify their enemies, and they should tell us these things. But if it is the ordinary politics of the country, whereby they're just going to speak for sympathy cards or for emerging as political parties, or they're projecting 27 election, or they're going to work again with the redeemable corrupt guy, then we are going to tell them that sisi si wajinga bwana, watu si wajinga na msituone kama that thing. So I think the people should also allow these people to speak out. It is good or better for people to know other than people living in the darkness, but these things are going on. People are saying that, why are you saying now? Why could you not speak? It is good he speaks now because at least we know something which was not privy to the public. I think that's what I wanted to say, Makobura.
Okay, maybe one question before I let you is, Muturi has been an insider. He understands how government is run. And again, he has had the opportunity to make, decisions at a higher table. He's been an AG, he's ever been a speaker, he's been a cabinet secretary. The question we're asking is, if an insider comes out and tells us that the cook is not a good person, we should not continue hating without, when you're not careful enough, what would be your take? The comments that he's making Are we supposed to believe as a people of Kenya? I've never been into cabinet. I've never been an insider. You've never been one, but he's ever been, and he's the one telling us or giving this kind of accusations. What should a normal Kenyan do? Do we believe? Do we get worried? What should we do?
No worry at all. The only thing we should do, we should believe, because leave alone the issue of cabinet. Here we are talking about National Security Council. National Security Council also supersedes cabinet. We have the cabinet where we have almost 21 members, but now National Security Councils is just a select of the few. We have the president, deputy president, CS Foreign Affairs, CS Interior, CS Defense, AG. We also have the CDF. We have the IG. We have the NIS boss or NIS director and the DCIO. If we have all these crucial security organ and you are a member of that security organ, that is where I want to pick our point. Leave alone the issue of cabinet, because cabinet composed of many people. Now, yes, a selection of the few, and they are presiding of the National Security Council of the country. And one of the members of the council has come out and told you that he calls directly to the interior by then Kindiki. He called Mudavadi by then CS Foreign Affairs. He tried to reach the NIS boss who never picked the call. But later when he got into State House and one-on-one with the president just picked a phone and called NIS boss. He say, okay, I'm the one who's holding that kid here. What else do you want us to believe if that is not enough? And already there's a documented evidence which has been deposited at the DCI headquarters. If those are not enough evidence, then I don't know what kind of evidence people want. How do you want the video evidence or the audio evidence? But it is we should. As for me, we should believe this documented evidence, because if you don't believe it, then let those people who have been accused to come out and defend the accusation. Let them come out and defend the accusation. That's when we will believe we will believe that JB is lying. But if they are going to let JB go with all those provisions deposited at the headquarters, then we are going to take it that JB speaks the truth, and we want more revelation from people like JB, and they should not be coward. They should not suspend their brains. They should only respect, or they should only fear God Almighty and the people, because the people can make you or break you. That's what I want. Let us focus on the National Security Council. Leave alone the issue of the cabinet, because if you focus on the issue of cabinet, you are going to lose the point. Let us focus on the National Security Council, where they sit and then deal with the security of the nation.
Okay, thank you. Be good. Brother Benson, do you have something to say?
Concerning which one? Maybe the question that maybe if you have a question that you want me to answer, but do you have a question?
Yeah, the question that I've just asked Miguda is, being that JB was part and parcel of the table,
Mm-hmm.
those who were making the critical decision for the country, him having been a speaker, having been an AG, having been a cabinet secretary, he's the one who is coming out to give us all these allegations. And again, if you can remember, part of his story was saying that there's a point he was told to sign some documents, at the airport. And so the question I'm asking you is, what is your take as a Kenyan citizen? Are we then supposed to get worried that these leaders are making deals on our behalf without our authorization? Remember the issues of Adani? We were not told, but they did it. We came to know about it after it was cancelled after the pressure of the people of Kenya. How many deals have they made without the consent of the people or without the knowledge of the people? And if they continue signing and making signatures at wrong places, how are we safe as a people?
I don't think it is not the issue of safety, but it is the issue of governance, leadership, and governance. And you ask yourself, like, how are we rated as a country, or how can we actualize the dream that Kenya has, or the dream that Kenya has been yearning to actualize? That is what we should. And remember, most of these big signings that usually takes place, they usually get known to the public maybe after they've happened. If you're very keen, when you go back and read the issue of Golden Bag, about the Kamlesh party, how the Golden Bag came into being, that was a major scandal. It happened, and it came very hot in the public. People discussed about it, and that's how it ended. Then the Eurobond came. Then after the Eurobond, we have NYS. So major big scandal. And when now you look at history, it tells you how, as a country, we usually don't learn, or as a country, we are not people who are moving forward. Because if a mega scandal happens with an administration, and the next administration comes into being or comes into place, what again happens? Another major scandal happens. So it tells you how our system, it's not even our leaders, is how our system is made, or how system, kwa Kiswahili tunasema kwamba mfumo ambao labda tuko nayo na ukiangalia hiyo mfumo haitusaidii sana sana. Inapata kwamba wengi ambao wanafaidika katika mfumo ambao ipo ni maviongozi ama wale ambao wamepatiwa nyadhifa mbalimbali, au ndio unapata kwamba watu ambao wanafaidika sana. Even right now, even after JB Muturi labeling those accusations against president, instead of the relevant, especially like a National Assembly, to come out and to maybe to know more, because I think like JB Muturi was documenting everything that he was doing. Yeah, he has a documentation, and if you come to a developed country like US, or I think in Europe, such like documents are called classified. When you write a document, especially that dealing with the government, and you are in such a high position, that is called classified information. And for you to release that, it has to be declassified. That is something that also I think is there. I might be wrong in that. But instead of minority leader, picking up on where Muturi has left and say, okay, he has labeled this accusation, this falls on the executive. What is our role as the parliament? He talks of asking Muturi, now, even for your time when you were on speaker, there was this Bunge house, or the Bunge towers, that was supposed to be built by around 6 million, and the money escalated to around double the price of that. And you ask yourself, what is the rationale? How are you using? So does it mean that if there is an issue that has been raised, but since this person does not share the same camp with you, now because he has said that, now there's also allegation that you have against him, now you have to bring it into public. So you see how it works, so, and that's why earlier I said that what we should be worried about is about the leadership, everybody that we've given the leadership, because they're the people who have been given the mandate to speak on behalf of the people, or to investigate on the behalf of the people. But when a leader raises issues and say that, okay, the allegation has been made, and when allegation has been made, for you to encounter that allegation, you accuse the person who has made that allegation. So that one, it tells you that we are not moving forward as a country. In terms of should we be scared? Yes, because let's say like some of these deals that maybe they are getting, or the deals that the government is doing, they're given as loans, and who is going to pay them? The Kenyan people. So which means it is going to be paid on the taxpayers' money, and who pays the tax are the Kenyans. Yeah. So which means the burden of paying tax for you, and for your generation, it 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 will be there for a long time. Secondly, again, it tells about the development that should be done. You know, the development that should be done. If 99% of the money that you are getting as a grant, for instance, is going for corruption, and maybe 1% is going for development, how are we going to grow as a country? So it, it is a conversation that lies with the voters now, and the voters themselves now has to decide themselves that what is it that we have to do, what is our priority. Yeah, if we can know our priorities, if the voters can know their priorities, then they will have a country that they desire. But if their priorities are still being decided by the we call it the token that we get from politicians, or their priorities are being decided by the political parties, then it is still very far for Kenya to actualize the dream that Kenya wants.
Okay. Thank you so much, Brother Ben, and also Mr. Miguda, for finding time this evening to join me at the studio. I also want to take this opportunity to just say a big thank you to our viewers, and especially those who engaged us at the comment section. We really appreciate it. Brother Ben, maybe if you have something, closing remarks.
There's something that I'm seeing. Gibson Connor said, he saw that something. Muturi left Jubilee to join KK, brother. Ruto, what has changed? Nothing has really changed. Politics is about interest, yeah, and power. Once you don't have that interest and that power, then something has to change. Because when you look at JB Muturi and the former president Uhuru Kenyatta, these are buddies. They've been friends for so long, and if you listen to JB Muturi, he said that the decision he made joining Ruto, actually he's the last person that joined President William Ruto, but he said that they shared the values. It was a coalition or joining President Ruto because there's values that they shared together. So you ask yourself, what are these values? And when you're talking about values, they're those values that defines us. What is your value? There's something that if I see in you and I know that this is what we stand for. So when he was leaving Jubilee to join President Ruto, and he said because there was a shared values, I wish he could have told us what are these values. Yeah. And if you listen also to his interview, he said very well, I quote, that the President Ruto that you see on the public is quite much different with the President Ruto sitting in the State House or sitting even with the members of his cabinet. Some of them fear him. They're scared about of him. They're scared, no, not about him, but they're scared about him. And he went and said that some of them prefer having like the cabinet committees with the former president, that is Rigathi Gachagua and Kithure Kindiki. That is the only place they can express their views. Yeah. So it is about interest. Yeah. And if that interest that interest is over, you tend to what to to disagree, and everybody should look for his path. And I'm seeing I was going through some other channels, people talking about like this one is going to destroy President William Ruto. I tell you, politics is about perception. And President William Ruto was very calculative. Even when he called the interview with the vernacular stations when he was starting his Mount Kenya tour. And one of the points that was going to be used during that was about the 10 billion for Rigathi Gachagua. And if you're very keen, that has been the line or has been the talking points, especially where they've been doing the campaigns. And also the messaging. If you're very keen, during the Mount Kenya tour compared to Western Kenya, the Western Kenya was the leaders of Western Kenya was castigating a community. But now, when you come to Mount Kenya tour, the tribal issue has not played a part. I don't know whether you are very keen about it. I don't know whether you saw that. The tribal issue, nobody mentioned as compared when he was in Western Kenya. How the members of, especially some leaders from Western Kenya, were castigating the mountain. But when you come to the mountain, the issue of tribe, there was nothing. And that one should be a lesson even to people like Gaucho on how politics plays. Yeah. And during that tour, if you see people like Sudi, they were present, but they did not talk. In the entire Mount Kenya, there is no any other MP from Mount Kenya that had an opportunity to speak to the people of Mount Kenya. I don't know whether there was an MP from any other area that spoke.
Yeah, most of the time Kimani.
Yeah.
And also, like today, Kimani spoke, and I also saw the women rep of Kiambu.
Yeah.
And they were echoed by the people.
But look at when President was touring Nyanza, Kimani Chungwa spoke, leaders from all the areas spoke. It also happened in the Western Kenya. But when it comes to, you have to be very, very, very keen, especially when we are looking this politics. And that requires the voters themselves to understand how politics plays. So each and every region, when president is touring, each and every region has the messaging that they're using. Yeah, not messaging are the same. They're quite much different. When you're in Nyanza, there's different message. When you're touring Western Kenya, when you're in Mombasa, he will be going to Ukambani, he will have different message. It will not be the same as Central Kenya. So that is my view.
Okay, thank you. I think we are done for today. Maybe you can close for us.
No, I cannot access the studio. That's why you have to. I cannot access the studio.
Okay, very well. I want to take this opportunity to say a big thank you to everyone who joined us this evening. We really appreciate the fact that you've been with us for an hour and 15 minutes. We don't take it for granted. Here at Brother Benson Media, we say that your opinion counts. And if you're new to this channel, kindly like and subscribe to the channel, because if you do so, it is a way of supporting us and we'll really, really appreciate. I want to take this opportunity to say thank you to Gypsy Corner, the comment section, Judith Caritha, the comment section, Brenda, and also Betseba. And everyone who joined, thank you so much. I want to take this opportunity to wish you all a blessed night, a blessed morning, a blessed afternoon, a blessed evening from wherever you are. Thank you so much, and may God bless you. See you tomorrow.